5 of the biggest fragrance myths. Now, I'll be honest, the things I'm about to talk about are not things I've never talked about. I kind of just wanted to compile some concepts that I think are really important, that I think about all the time, that really influence how I observe the fragrance community. And again, these are things I have talked about in past videos, either individually or in various combinations, but I wanted to highlight them all here in one easy place for you to access them so that you remember.
But remember this while you're remembering.
This is my opinion. This is not law. This doesn't even have to be truth. This is just the way I see it. Take it as you will. As usual, my point of this video and videos like this is to start a discussion, because we don't really talk about these things in the fragrance community. I don't know why, but I've been trying to change that. So let's dive right into it. These are in no particular order. Number 1, higher concentrated fragrances should always perform better. I did talk about this in a recent video, which you can check out here, about why your fragrance may not be lasting on your skin. So I'm not going to break it down too much because, again, I broke it down in that video. But the easiest way to put it as a rule of thumb, I would say, is to think of concentration as a vibe. Concentration doesn't necessarily have to do with performance. Don't equate them together because you'll be disappointed a lot of the time. Just because you have a parfum flanker of your favorite designer fragrance does not mean that is going to be stronger than the previous iterations. It can be. Sometimes it is. Take Dior Sauvage Elixir. I used that as an example in the video I just referenced. That is definitely the strongest rendition of all of its collection, as it was intended to be. But it's not always intended to be that. So again, it's a vibe. If you see eau de parfum, that usually means it's going to be a thicker, richer, denser, heavier scent that may not necessarily project out a whole lot and be detectable by everyone. It's going to possibly move slowly in the air. It's possibly going to hang in the air, and it may even stick on your skin a good while, but not necessarily. Don't set yourself up for disappointment by believing that if it's a higher concentration, it should perform better, be stronger, last longer, all the things. Ideally, yes, but realistically, not really. The second myth: non-mainstream fragrances cannot get you compliments. If you have seen my content, you'll know that I am not one who actively seeks compliments. I don't wear fragrances for that reason. That doesn't mean I don't like compliments. I do.
Who doesn't?
And as I've said in previous videos, any fragrance can get you compliments. Any fragrance can get you compliments. That's why we have hundreds, if not thousands, of top 10 most complimented fragrances videos out there. And each one of them can feature maybe some overlap, but a lot of different fragrances. Hundreds, again, if not thousands, of fragrances out there that people have claimed that have got them compliments. So what does that mean? That means that you don't have to buy any particular one of those to get compliments. And also it means that there's no guarantee that any one of those fragrances will get you a compliment, because everything is different for everyone. So if you wear a fragrance with confidence, something like Sahraa from Fragrance du Bois, I do not recommend going out and buying this, because this is a very expensive fragrance. We're talking upwards of almost $1,000 for a full bottle. No! Do not blind buy this. If you're interested in it, get a Decant. This is a gorgeous, very natural, very high quality rose and oud fragrance. Rich, kind of sweet in a cotton candy way, soft, but woody and dry and just so elegant, maybe a little spicy. A lot going on here. I do believe you get what you pay for if you love it. And I have gotten compliments with this fragrance when I've worn it in the right scenario, but that's not why I wear it. I wear it because I love it. I wear it when I want to match a certain vibe that I'm going for in a particular situation with a particular outfit. Creed Royal Oud. A lot of people don't like this scent. I used to be one of them back in the day. I had a Decant. I didn't care for it. I've come around to it. I absolutely love it, and it does get me compliments because I wear it very purposefully. This is a dry, woody fragrance that is extremely elegant, has a bit of a spice, has a bit of an herbal quality, almost a little bit sweet, but not overtly. And it simply smells refined. And I wear it when I dress up, when I'm going out, when I want to have a sophisticated vibe. That's when I wear this, and it works for me. You don't have to get a certain fragrance to get compliments if that's what you're looking for. Anything can do it as long as you love it, because if you love it, you'll wear it with confidence. Myth number 3, the largest bottle size is always the better deal. Now we're talking about price per milliliter. I did talk about this in another recent video. You can check that out here. And again, I won't go too deep into it because I already broke it down before. So watch that video if you want to learn more. But I'm going to take this fragrance for example, Guerlain L'Homme Idéal L'Intense. This is one of my favorite designer fragrances. It is probably still my favorite in this collection, the L'Homme Idéal collection. It is sweet and a little bit creamy with that bitter almond. It does have almost this kind of slightly fruity cherry vibe, but it is quite spicy and smoky, and that's what sets it apart from its predecessor, the original L'Homme Idéal. Love this stuff. However, I don't need this large size. This is a 100 milliliter bottle. I don't need this much. As much as I love it, I will never finish this bottle because I have so many fragrances and I'm still getting more. If you can relate to that, if you're constantly getting new fragrances, maybe on a monthly basis, you don't need the largest size. Unless it's something that you literally wear several times a week and you'll go through it. By all means, go for it. But even though that bigger size is only maybe $20 more, sometimes less than that, more than the smaller size for twice as much juice, as I like to say, all you're doing is spending more money on more fragrance you won't use unless you're wearing it several times a week. Again, just my 2 cents. It's not a better deal. You're just spending more money. 50, maybe even 30 milliliters will still go a long way for you. Myth number 4, blind buying a lot of cheapies is harmless. They're cheap. You spend anywhere from 15 to 30 or 40 bucks on a bottle. You don't even see the money leave your account, and maybe you make it back the next day. You know, again, it can come off as very harmless. It can be very fun because they're so accessible. They're low-hanging fruit. You go to your local, Ross or Marshalls or TJ Maxx or whatever you have that's comparable, and you check the racks and you see, again, such cheap fragrances, maybe some of which you're getting at a good price compared to getting them elsewhere, and you buy them and you can buy them in bulk. You can get 4, 5, 6, 7 at once, and you take them all home and you spray them and you have a good time, and then you rinse and repeat that maybe a couple times a month. And then you look down and you have 65 new bottles that you acquired over the course of a few months, and you can't wear them all. And then you find that a lot of them kind of smell the same, and you only gravitate towards maybe a handful of them. The rest of them start to collect dust. Then what? A lot of us have been there. I've been there myself. I want to show you this little screenshot here of my Parfumo profile. You'll see a section of fragrances I used to own. And there's a period of time, maybe 4 or 5, almost 6 years ago, when I was doing this. I was blind buying tons of cheapies because they were cheap, because they were easy to get. And my whole collection was flooded with them, and I wasn't wearing them because they didn't inspire me. And again, they were redundant. I ended up selling them all off. Again, a lot of you guys can relate to this. Nothing wrong with cheapies, but getting a ton of them all at once or just on a frequent basis, it can become overwhelming. Even though it may not affect you financially, it affects you mentally, psychologically, it affects your spirit because you just have so much and you're not using it all. So just be cautious with it. I actually have a video that I haven't filmed yet, my latest addition to my What You Think You Smell Like series, my skit/parody series that is focused around this idea. And I think it'll be an interesting video. I haven't filmed it yet, so you'll probably see it sometime after this, but stay tuned for that. Myth number 5, and this one is a little bit controversial. I don't know why I put this in the video. Fragrance reviewers get all of their bottles for free, and we make a lot of money making fragrance reviews. Again, this is a myth. Now, there are some exceptions. Some of these large channels do make a decent amount of money making videos on YouTube. I don't know the numbers, but I know some people who have been able to step away from their 9-to-5s and just do this full time. And that's great. I think a lot of us are more or less aspiring to that in various ways, but that is the exception. That is not the norm. Here's an example of a fragrance that goes against what I just said. Amouage Royal Tobacco. This is the newest fragrance from Amouage. They sent it to me for free. This is not a cheap scent. I got it for free. I've gotten a couple fragrances for free from Amouage along with other brands. I've gotten a lot of fragrances for free from brands. Why do brands do this? I'm not going too deep into this because I've actually talked about this in another video, which I'll link up here. Brands want to make money. They want exposure. They want that money. And we are great advertisers. The hope is that they send us something that we love and we can talk about it passionately, therefore influencing viewers like you to go out and check it out yourself, either blind buying it,
hopefully not,
or, as I like to say, sample first if it's interesting to you. Yes, I like new fragrances. Yes, I like free fragrances. Who wouldn't? Let me know down in the comments if you would absolutely hate receiving a free bottle from anyone. Let's talk about it. I feel honored to receive it, and it becomes a part of my collection. It allows my collection to grow and allows me to continue to create new and novel content here for you guys. That is the value of it for you. It costs you nothing, of course, and obviously you expect us to be impartial and to be honest with our reviews. But the reality is, I cannot pay my bills with free bottles. At this point, I have more fragrances than I can ever use, that I can ever dream to use. Even though I love so many of them, they're just another fragrance on my shelf because there will be more coming in. Not to say that they don't have any value, but at least at this point in my journey, I cannot say I'll do anything to get a free bottle. I will happily turn down a free bottle if it doesn't look like something I'll like or that I believe in, because I don't really need any more. Again, it's good to have to create new content, but at the end of the day, if I had to choose between receiving free bottles and losing my relationship with my wife, or never receiving another free bottle again, I will never receive another free bottle. There's so many things that are more important to me, even though ironically enough, this is a fragrance channel and I love fragrances and I'm passionate about them. But again, I can't do anything with this bottle other than wear it. I can't take it to my landlord and say, hey, here's the rent. He's gonna be like, that's nice. But no, that's not gonna work. We don't make a ton of money, at least most of us. This is a side hustle. YouTube ad revenue, affiliate links, all that stuff just barely kind of amounts together. Enough so to help per month, but we're not out here stacking racks. That's all I gotta say. I wanna know what you think of these 5 myths that I've just outlined. I again wanna have a discussion about it down in the comments. We don't need to be disrespectful. We don't need to be angry. We don't need to be mad. We don't need to try to cut people down. We don't need to try to discourage. All of that is unnecessary. This can be friendly. This can be respectful. Let's stick to the facts. We don't have to put emotion into it. But I think you guys know that. I know a lot of you guys are mature enough to just talk logically about these things. So let me know what you think down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.